This is a young boa constrictor, just one of thousands of species living in the Amazon rainforest. It's a landscape of superlatives, the biggest continuous forest in the world, nearly the size of Australia. Nobody knows exactly how many species live here. Large parts of the rainforest have yet to be explored. One thing is clear though, the biodiversity here is under threat. Climate change and deforestation are taking their toll. A research group sets off from the southern tip of Colombia to a lagoon near Tarapoto in Peru. They plan to take stock of the wetlands.
This expedition is to conduct a biodiversity study. For this biodiversity study, we want to find out what fauna is found here, what flora is found here, and to determine the value of this region.
The scientists will spend 2 weeks looking for fauna. Dirk Embert is a specialist for reptiles and amphibians. The researchers keep their eyes open as they approach their destination.
This expedition aims at generating arguments for why this region should be protected. So the more successful we are, the more fauna we find, maybe new species, that could happen, the more biodiverse the area is. The stronger our argument is to make this a protected area.
The research group makes their base in a small indigenous community on the border to Peru. The welcoming committee is not just made up of Ticuna Indians. A poisonous snake has come along as well. The reptile expert gets to work.
It's a viper of the Bothrops family. And practically all snakes from this species are extremely poisonous and aggressive.
First, a photograph for the records. At the end of the expedition, the researchers will compile a book listing all the animal species they find in the region. Then another creature shows up for the photo shoot. A tarantula of the Avicularia genus poses for the camera. The second catch for the scientists with no effort on their part. It's a promising start to the expedition. Then the search begins in earnest. Over the course of the day, the researchers will make plenty of discoveries. Meanwhile, in Bogota, Colombia's capital, protecting the Amazon is also on the agenda. At the nature conservation organization WWF, Jimena Barrera coordinates international support. Germany is involved.
The German government is important for us in our attempt to get all the Amazon nations around one table.
Okay, so thank you all for being here. It's great to talk about the Amazon vision today. What is the importance of the workshop? It would be great also to hear.
Office work and diplomacy rather than a jungle expedition. Jimena Barrera manages and supports the project directors of the Amazon nations. Colombia, Brazil, Ecuador and Peru want to coordinate their protection efforts better and want to cooperate within the context of the International Climate Initiative.
When you're working on a national level, you have other challenges to deal with. On a political level, you're working within different time frames. Governments change, new players come along.
Los tiempos políticos también son distintos.
A lot of our work is about trying to understand these different short and long-term time frames on the local and national levels.
From theory to practice, the Amazon expedition is now deploying fishing nets. The biologists are excited. The biodiversity of this section of the river has never been studied before.
These fish will get to be this big.
Their first catch includes more than a dozen different species of fish.
We've only examined 5 meters so far.
The researchers are on a high.
We've only been here for 2 hours and we've already caught more than 50 different fish species. It's very possible that we've discovered some new species. We won't know that until we're back in the lab and have examined the scales and counted their teeth to determine the differences.
The chances of discovering new species increase with every catch. The reptile and amphibian specialists searched through the night, the most promising time for them.
This will become a 2 or 2.5 meter long boa constrictor.
The boa constrictor has its own photo session the next morning. While it's not news that this snake lives in the Amazon, for their book and for the scientists researching the biodiversity of the region, its appearance is a real help.